Today I'll be talking on the virus multiplication, generation of antibodies, the health concern and role of industry in developing the antibiotics in collaboration with the academia and the government bodies. Here we need to understand how the virus enters into the cell. The virus enters through the receptor mediated endocytosis, which means that there is a receptor on the cell and there is a protein on the virus which interact together and virus enters into the cell. In case of SARS-CoV-2, there is an ACE2 receptor on the case of the cells and there is a spike protein on the virus which interact to make entry into the cell. In case of HIV, for example, there is CCR5 receptor and HIV enters into the cell due to that. Now, once the virus has entered, it opens up its genome and it starts replicating the genome to make multiple copies. The main enzyme that is required for replication is the RNA polymerase, and this RNA polymerase is mutated by a drug, and that is the drug against the virus replication, the SARS-CoV-2. The drug happens to be remdesivir, which acts on the RNA polymerase of the virus. It mutates the RNA polymerase and the viral replication stops. Sometimes the virus is resistant to the drugs. You would have seen in case of SARS-CoV-2 time in the COVID-19, the remdesivir was sort of drug in case of the grey market at a very high price. Ultimately it stopped working, and WHO said that or to all clinicians that you stop prescribing this drug. So what would have happened? What would have happened is that the virus has made itself resistant to that drug, and this is called antiviral resistance. In another case, the virus makes the proteins, the genome makes the proteins, and all those proteins are very essential for it to multiply. One of the major proteins that it makes is the protease protein. What protease does is it breaks the polyprotein made by the virus into smaller proteins, and the smaller proteins are essential for the virus replication. In case we can inhibit the protease, we are kind of stopping the replication of the virus. This has been shown by one of the antibiotics, which is molnupiravir, and in our lab we have raised a molecule which is STL522, which acts against the protease and stops its replication in the cell culture. Our study has been published in Feb's journal. Once the antibiotics are sought after, we need to really see how, in the absence of which can cause the catastrophe of the virus infection. The virus infection, we have all seen that in SARS-CoV-2, it caused health hazards. The doctors do not have, the hospitals are not having the beds, the doctors are not available, the socio-economic things are there, economically the health costs are very high. So this is something that we need to take care of. And how we need to take care of it is through the industry. Help of the industry is very important, and our industry is quite capable. As you know, that Bharat Biotech had created or produced Covaxin, which was sold all over the globe. So we need the industry collaboration. Even alone, industry cannot survive and produce the drugs unless and until they are supported by the original drugs which are raised by the academia. Therefore, we need the collaboration of academia, industry and the government. The government has been very proactive now, and it has been giving the grants which are required for this research purpose to the industry academia collaborations. For example, there is a BIP grant, there is a BIG grant, there is a BIRAC grant. So this allows the industry to do the kind of research that they want. In future, if the drug resistance comprehensively has to be made, an authoritative database of drug resistant mutations and more comprehensively epidemiology, host and drug exposure information is needed to guide their therapeutic decisions effectively. So with the hope that we will be able to interact together, the industry, academia and the government, and we will be able to generate new antibiotics. Otherwise, it is a situation of great concern, because it has been quoted by one of the scientists that by 2050, we will be having 10 million infections per year, and if in case we do not have the antiviral drugs. Thank you.